Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. With me in the studio today is Dr. Shepard Fubara, a lecturer and political affairs analyst. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Welcome and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll head straight to our first story for discussion. Independent National Electoral Commission has commenced a 50-day continuous voter registration exercise across the 329 wards of Akwa Ibom State. The ward-level registration, which began on Monday, will run for 50 days. This was contained in a statement issued on Tuesday in Uyo by the INEC head of department, Voter Education and Publicity, Bukola Ojeme. Ojeme said the exercise was designed to bring voter registration closer to the grassroots, urging eligible citizens to take advantage of the opportunity. He explained that eligible voters could now register at their respective INEC ward collation centers across the 329 wards in the state, with 2 wards in each local government area attended to daily. The INEC spokesperson clarified that during the 50-day period, only the Commission State Headquarters Registration Center would remain operational, while registration activities at the 31 local government area offices will be suspended. Ojeme added that the INEC voter enrollment devices currently allocated to each local government would be rotated among the wards to ensure full coverage. To ensure transparency, he disclosed that INEC had approved the timetable for the rotation of the enrollment devices, directing electoral officers to publicize it widely. INEC are beginning a 50-day voter registration in Akwa Ibom State. I would love to get your thoughts on this development.
Okay, this is one of the routine functions of INEC. So it is not a big deal. It is not something that is new. This is what INEC ought to be doing and do it effectively, because from 2023 or from the last exercise, the registration exercise, a lot of people have attained the age of 18. So it should be a routine exercise to ensure that, you know, every qualified Nigerian is given the opportunity to choose who their leader is. And so, for me, I would say it's not just about the registration exercise, but the main thing. Because if you observe over the years, INEC will be doing this, will encourage people to come and register, people will mobilize communities, you know, wards, local government. Then at the end of the day, when the time will come for the real deal, INEC will mess up. And if you look at it also, recently we discovered that the registration process is no longer gaining the momentum, you know, the enthusiasm and the publicity, you know, that people used to give, because everybody will look forward to, you know, that transparent process where you can choose your leader. But INEC has failed in that responsibility. So let's just hope that this time around things will be done differently. We just hope, because as it stands now, as a person, and also from the people I've spoken with, the confidence level is very low, and nobody, let me say, a large population of Nigerians do not trust INEC, and we don't believe they do the right thing.
This registration process, if you've gone to an INEC or a center where this go is conducted, you find that the crowd most times seems to be much, and then we don't know the process they're going to use for this particular 50-day exercise. Don't you think we've come to the era, or to the phase where you don't need to go queue up at an INEC office? You can stay wherever you are and send in your details and then await feedback.
Well, by rights, at this age of artificial intelligence, that's how it's supposed to be. But, you know, the Nigerian mentality, when people crowd that way, you know, it seems you are working. Instead of using technology to make this process seamless, you know, and very stress-free. But an average Nigerian manager, leader, will tell you that when you see people like that and people are, you know, sweating, it makes them feel good, like, oh, we are working. But honestly, the world has gone past, you know, this manual and this primordial way of, you know, conducting election management activities and all of that. You would discover that if you do a comparative analysis, that in terms of population between Nigeria and India, India has a larger population. In terms of the election management, they spend less, a larger population, and the election is more transparent than INEC. INEC spend more money and, you know, follow through this manual and primordial, you know, system. At the end of the day, will not get, you know, something comparable to what is obtainable in the world. By now, INEC of today, one would have expected that, you know, they would do things differently. Like I keep saying, INEC have not shown any sign that they would do things differently. These are traditional and routine, you know, functions that they keep on doing every day and all of that. You said that you go to some places, you see people are crowded. It's not that so. If the process is people have the confidence that the process will be transparent. Okay. We see that a lot of people, will crowd those registration centers. But a large number of people, perhaps maybe they are loyal to a particular party, they are loyal to a particular, political leader. They will be asked to go to a particular place to register. And that's one of the reasons why you see, some, people crowding in one place or the other. Then you go to other places, you will not see anybody. Some places you go if you just 1, 2, and just can't see people like that. Because the confidence level is very low. One would have expected that INEC by now, INEC should improve. INEC should, with other electoral bodies around the globe to ensure that we improve our electoral management process, we improve, everything that has to do with, this election process. But INEC is still, using the mentality of an average Nigerian management system, to do their daily function.
One more question. You made mention of voter apathy, which seems to be growing. Now, after these registration exercises, we found that most of the people are redundant or reluctant to collect their PVCs. It seems like the whole exercise was done in futility. Are we going to experience such on a heightened level, or do you think that has been curbed?
Let me tell you, like in some communities, the community people will tell their people that this registration is not about a political party, it's not about INEC, it's not about transparent election. But for the fact that if people don't register, that unit, the number in that unit, will be less than the required number. They need to go and register. Just register to ensure that we keep the legal required number so that the polling unit will not be moved to any other place. People will go and register. So after the registration, nobody will be interested in collecting PVC because the PVC by right is supposed to be used for election, for voting. And the election, we don't have confidence. The voters card, before they used to use this card for some other things and all of that. But as of today, most of the
it's stripped off.
Yes, it's stripped off, and you make use of a NIMSI card and all that. So people no longer, go and all of that. INEC will be begging, come and take your card. Your cards are ready, but nobody wants to. Because of that same trust issue, if INEC can put these things, to rest, you will see that people will be enthusiastic.
So you're saying it's beyond this registration process?
It's beyond the registration process. The registration process, one of the reasons is to keep our units in our communities, in our localities, is to ensure that we also get more units and all of that. That's number one purpose, that people keep going for the registration and all of that. But outside that, any other thing, you will discover that people are not that interested. Compared to 2022/2023, you will see that the registration almost everywhere, people were crowding everywhere to register because people believe as at then that the election was going to be transparent, and with the coming of one particular candidate, that the majority of people believe that, okay, if I cast my vote for this person, things could be done differently and all of that. So you see people crowded. Even on the election day, everywhere, people are crowded. Immediately after that election, the abracadabra that took place, on the election day, the next election, we didn't see people. People didn't go. And subsequent election, the incidents had been the same. So it's high time INEC, put its house together. I was listening to the chairman the other day, and he was saying that, this time around, they are going to do things differently and all of that. I said, this man is not telling Nigeria the truth.
Afterwards, I think recently he said that election 2027 won't be perfect.
So what happened to FCT election? If 2027 election will be different, will be perfect, will be transparent, okay? What happened to the FCT election? Who conducted the election? Is it not INEC? So you can't come and conduct that kind of bizarre election. Then you come out and begin to tell people that 2027 election is going to be different. Let's wait and see whether the Osun State election on the 8th of August will be different.
All right. Thank you very much for your opinion on that story. Move on to the next story. As Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State has revalidated his membership of the All Progressives Grand Alliance by participating in the party's ongoing electronic membership registration exercise, which commenced on March 1 across the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Soludo, who completed his registration alongside his wife, Noye Soludo, on Monday, expressed excitement over the exercise, noting that it aligns with provisions of the Electoral Act. In a post on his Facebook page on Monday, the The governor described the digital transformation of the party's membership process as a game changer that sets APGA apart as a pioneer in the Nigerian politics. Newsmen had earlier reported that APGA invited all stakeholders, supporters and members, both old and new, to participate in the ongoing electronic registration exercise nationwide. Speaking during a press briefing at the party's zonal headquarters in Awka on Friday, the National Publicity Secretary Ejimofo Opara said the exercise being conducted in all wards nationwide began on March 1, 2026 and is taking place simultaneously across all 8,809 electoral wards in Nigeria. Opara said the initiative is aimed at modernizing the party's database, ensuring data integrity and fostering inclusivity, adding that participants must be at least 18 years old and possess a valid national identification number to complete the process. According to him, the party is targeting over 2 million new and revalidated members through the drive. Let's start from the last statement, where the party is targeting over 2 million new members through the revalidation drive. How possible do you think that could be?
You know, the performance of APGA has shrunk over the years.
Okay.
And APGA has become not just a one-state party as it is now. It has become a majority of Anambra people do not breathe APGA anymore as it was before. So this is, I would say, this is an ambitious desire, a vision. But let's see how it goes. But I know that Soludo's performance, Soludo's alignment with APC and all of that has actually angered a lot of people, and I doubt if they'll be able to meet up that 2 million members. A party like APGA shouldn't be talking about 2 million members.
Why?
APGA should be able to, by now, to be a national party, you know, to the level that they should be talking about, you know, wresting power from the federal government. But as it is, it's no longer a regional party. It's just a state party. And even at that level too, we see that the performance is going down and all of that. You check the State House of Assembly, how many members are APGA members? You check the National Assembly, House of Representatives, how many members are from APGA? If you check the Senate, how many members are from Well, once any political party, any group, you know, lack effective, coherent, and visionary leadership, you will discover that that group, that political party, will begin to shrink. And it seems, from all indication, that APGA may go away with Soludo. And I believe that they will do something about that. APGA, right from when, you know, the party came on board, you will discover that the party was, you know, was more or less like a regional party. You see a party in other eastern states, but as it is today, is only Anambra. The party is struggling, you know, to stand. So this exercise should be taken seriously by the leadership of APGA to ensure that the vision of the founding fathers of the party, you know, is revived, is revitalized, and revolutionized, you know, to embrace people. You know, that scope of APC. So APGA should
Adamawa State Governor Omar Fintiri has said that no politician from the northern part of the country should contest the presidency against President Bola Tinubu in 2027. Fintiri, who defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress last week, insisted that it remains the turn of the South to complete 8 years in office in the interest of fairness and national unity. Speaking during an interview with newsmen on Tuesday, the governor maintained that power rotation was critical to the stability of the country. Fintiri stressed that respecting the zoning arrangements would reinforce unity and strengthen the country's democratic culture. Addressing questions about opposition politics and his political future, the governor said he had not seen any credible presidential aspirant emerge from his former party, the PDP. Fintiri, who described himself as a key player in his former party, said he could not risk his political future based on speculations. When asked about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and his reported presidential ambition in 2027, Fintiri declined to engage in controversy. This was one headline story this morning where we have Fintiri saying nothing else should contest against Tinubu come 2027. Let me get your thoughts if I ask for that question. Such statement.
Okay, there is a common understanding between the North and the South, and I think he's speaking in line with that common understanding for the sake of peace, for fairness, and inclusiveness, because the North has taken the shot for the past 8 years. So now it is the turn of the South. Okay. All right. So I believe and also subscribe and align with that position that the South should complete the 8 years. But I have issue with who should complete the 8 years. Okay. The current president should not complete another 4 years so that Nigerians will not die. So I believe that insofar we all agree, I agree that the South should complete the 8 years. I believe in 2027, someone else should take the leadership of this country for the sake of the interest of Nigeria. Because if there's no Nigeria, we cannot be talking about North and South presidency. But this 3 years and a half, we've seen what bad leadership means. We'll be talking about it, we'll be writing about it, but we've not really experienced it the way we've experienced. Okay. So under Tinubu, we've experienced hell on earth. We've experienced bad leadership real time. So 2027, there are good, heads, there are good people, from the South. They can, in 4 years, they can do something different. It doesn't take, let me give you an example. 8 years to transform Abia State. Yeah, but that's less than 4 years.
That's Abia State. That's not the entire federation.
If you look at it, our topographic circumstance looks similar. Okay. What Nigeria needs is a leader that will put things in the right perspective, and everything will work. So it doesn't need 8 years, 12 years, or 20 years to do that. In a space of 3 years, 4 years, a good leader with good intention, with vision and purpose for the country and for Nigerians will be able to do what somebody, who desire 20 years will not be able to do. So when you say leadership, it's just to put the right policies, the right program, and every other sector, every other federating union, a unit will run that with that vision. But what we have today is, take money from the poor, share it to a few people, make things very hard so that when you give them this money, they will do your bidding. That's the model they are. That's not leadership. That's absolute wickedness. So 2027, another Southern, should be able to drive the will of this country.
Doctor, you wouldn't emphatically say that the presidency has done so poorly. There are aspects, there are developmental changes we've seen in this regime that we can actually use as a scorecard to the president's regime. So if you're saying I get you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm saying we could also point to areas that the presidency has done well.
Example?
The economy has been revived.
Economy revive?
Yes, to an extent.
The economic indices, where you can, actually use to judge the performance of the economy. I can tell you that all those indices are showing negative in Nigeria. Take, for example, 2022 and early 2023. What was the value of the Naira to the dollar? It was less than 1,000. Okay. What is the value today? 1,500. What is the value to pound? 2,000 naira. Now, do you know what that's entailed in an economy, in a consumption economy like Nigeria? From 2023, May 2029 date, and other years, has Nigerians been better? Economically, politically, physically, otherwise?
No. To an extent, there's been a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive.
A conducive atmosphere.
We have now fund to help the students.
That's one of the most disastrous policies that this government introduced. And yes, it's disastrous. You make things hard. You make parents, you make students, go hungry, suffer. Then you turn around to, give them money to pay school fees. Is that what Nigerians ask for? Absolutely no. Does that contribute anything to improving our economy? Absolutely no. Improvement of economy, hinges on our production. Has our production capacity been improved or increased in these last 3 years? Absolutely no. Our purchasing power parity, has it increased? No. Has Nigeria been better off in any way? Absolutely no. So there is no, compared to the level of resources that have come to this country, there is no sector, there is no aspect that I can point out to say that the president or this leadership has done well. There's none. See, the World Bank has indicators where you can use to measure performance. In all of these indicators, this government has security increased, like security improved in this country for these past 3 years. Absolutely no. Adoption has increased, killings, terrorism, and all of that. All of them have increased. The multitudinal poverty survey said that more than 150 million Nigerians have become poorer. Under Buhari, it was 120 million. But under this present leadership, 150 million out of 220 million people. 150 have become poorer. Not just poor, poorer. So this kind of leadership will say, okay, they've done well in this and all of that. No, absolutely, this leadership is like a curse, it's like a punishment, divine punishment to the people of Nigeria for choosing the wrong people. If
you're of the opinion that a sound head should emerge from the south based on the rotation quota that was
yes.
From what you're seeing now, do you think there could be a sound head that could contest for that seat come 2027?
A lot of sound Southerners will contest in 2027, and I believe that if INEC is transparent among these good heads from the south, somebody will emerge that will be able to take this country to a different height other than the one that we've experienced these 3 years. And
let me also point to the fact that currently in ADC we have Atiku Abubakar, we have Rotimi Amechi, we have Peter Obi. We've not heard from other parties. So I'm talking. I asked the question based on these. Let's say these publicly known
people have declared their
interest in it. So from these options, let me get your thought.
Atiku should be out of the way. So the race should be between Mr. Peter Obi and Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi. Either of these two, I'm okay with any of them. Because when you look at the antecedents, they were governors. How was their performance? In the first tenure of Rotimi Amechi, I can tell you that he transformed, and we've never had it so since he left or before him. We've never had it so. Schools were built, security was top-notch, the economy of the state was fantastic, and all of that. So when you look at his antecedent, when you look at his personality, his focus, and what this person represents, if he can replicate that at the federal level, then you'll be rest assured that Nigeria will be better than what it is today. Also, when you look at P2B, when he was governor, how did he manage the resources of the state? How did he, perform? He was in this context. We can say that he did well. So, if Peter will be a match, I'm okay with that. If Rotimi Amechi a match, I'm okay with that. The two of them, okay, but Abubakar should be out of the way. The South should complete their 8 years, and this remaining 4 years, no Northerners should intrude. No Northerners should try to disrupt, the flow. beyond these two people, we also have good heads. And I'm sure as the time progresses, you will see more people. Siraki Dixon has registered the political party, and I'm very sure that Southerners, will queue beyond that party, and we will have good heads.
All right, Dr. Fubara, thank you for your opinion on that story, and this is wrap it up on this episode of Atn Politics. I would love to thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. And don't forget, we are open for sponsorship of this program, jingles and advert placement, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, products, service promotion and commercials. Watch us live on www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Apple TV channel 205, on Limes TV platform, iPad platform, Apple TV, Niger TV, Iroko TV. Connect with us on Atn Social, subscribe, like and share Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1 and the next app, Atlantic TV. So don't forget ways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Favor Chikwesiru Michael.
The board, management and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2026 anniversary celebration lecture of Morrison Media Group. Theme: Media's role in shaping social change, addressing inequities and empowering voices. Chairman Alex Ndudi Enebele, FSM, President, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Chartered. Keynote speaker, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, Professor of Media and Broadcasting Communication. Panelist, Professor Chris Ochonogo, immediate past head of Department, Journalism and Media Studies, University of Port Harcourt. Dr. Ijoma Tobosia, Secretary, NUJ, River State. Dr. Sarah Joe, University Orator and Associate Dean, Faculty of Communication and Media, River State University, Port Harcourt. Dr. Ibiere Koki, Ignatius Aju University of Education, Rumolomini, Port Harcourt. Chief host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date, Tuesday, 10th March 2026. Venue, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5, East West Road, adjacent Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time, 10 a.m. For more information, please call Kainde Paul Obofade, 081-063-41777 or Samuel Ajinwo at 090-454-00744. Signed, Management.